Success shouldn't feel this exhausting. If you're winning on paper, but burning out behind the scenes, you aren't failing. You're stuck in a psychological bottleneck called a hurdle of stop. I've been there. On the outside, things look great, but I was secretly burning out, convinced I was just lucky, and waiting to be exposed as a fraud. I realized I didn't have a business problem. I had a mindset block. Whether it's imposter syndrome, perfectionism, or fear or failure, these aren't just feelings. They are growth bottlenecks. Identify your specific hurdle and get one immediate action step to regain your momentum today. Go to tuepodcast.net/quiz. That's tuepodcast.net/quiz to take the 3-minute assessment and get your report now. This is an Undiscovered Legacy production and proud member of Pod Nation Media Network. If you have something you know you're meant to do and you don't do it and you hesitate and you try to be perfect about it, the universe is going to find somebody else to do it instead. And then you're going to miss your opportunity. I can't count how many times that I've come across a product that I saw on TV or something I saw on the street saying, I had the idea for that months ago, but somebody else did it. And now it's too late. Also, being perfect is kind of selfish if you really think about it too, because we're worried so much about it being perfect, not putting it out there and not being good enough. Somebody else that could be waiting for it to hear that specific message or have that specific product from you is waiting and waiting. There's somebody out there that needs to hear what I have to say in my voice and the way that I say it. But if I wait for it to be perfect, if I wait to put it out there, they're never going to hear it. They're never going to have that shift. They're never going to have that change that they need to have in their life because you didn't speak up and you waited for it to be perfect. Are you ready to unlock your entrepreneur potential? Are you ready to break free from all the barriers holding you back? Then you've come to the right place. Welcome to the Undiscovered Entrepreneur, your first step in getting across the start line. Let's get across that start line together, right here, right now, on the Undiscovered Entrepreneur. All right, hi, Scoob believers. It's me again, Scoob. Coming at you, whatever device you happen to be listening on, and welcome to number 2 of 3 of my solo episodes of going over the hurdles of stop, imposter syndrome, perfectionism, failure, and fear. And if you didn't get a chance to listen to 1 of 3, look into the show notes where I'll have a link to 1 of 3. It's very important that you listen to that one first. That way you get an idea of what's going on with imposter syndrome. But right now, we are actually going over number 2, which is perfectionism. Perfectionism, one of the main hurdles of stop that I always talk about in my podcasts and everything else. So what really, I'm going to get right down to it here, but what is really perfectionism and why does it bother us so much? A lot of it has to do with our upbringing and how we were told we have to be perfect to be able to stand out, to make a difference in the world, or we had to get straight A's or anything like that. Gosh knows that I was not a straight A student. No, but I'm still here doing this and I love it. But let's really dig deep into perfectionism, what it actually looks like. So a lot of perfectionism has to do with overthinking our situation. And because we're thinking so much about our situation, trying to make it perfect, we end up delaying a lot of what we can actually get out there into the world. It's really hard to put anything out there if we're trying to be perfectionists and try to make it perfect in and out, up and down, whatever we need to do to make it right for us as being a part of perfectionism, but it delays us. It's kind of like we hear it all the time about paralysis. They say analysis paralysis. That's what that's called. And we're just analyzing everything over and over again, making a little tweak here, making a tweak there. But at the same time, we are losing opportunities. And that's another part of it too, missing opportunities, because we're sitting there trying to make everything perfect so much that we're not going to put anything out there till it's perfect. But at the same time, we're missing opportunities that are coming along, and we're pushing opportunities to the side. It's not ready yet. I don't think this font is right, or I don't think this picture is good enough for this particular part, or whatever it is that you're putting together. We're missing opportunities because of little things. Let's not miss opportunities that are really important in our entrepreneur adventure because it's not perfect. What we really need to do here is have the imperfect launch pad, and why good enough is the only way to greatness. We really get stuck in the pre-launch world. And we tend to want to stay in a safe place where there's no judges, where people can't judge what we're doing until we get it, in our mind, perfect. And we really can't be doing that to ourselves. What we really need to do is get our stuff out there. We really need to put our stuff out there so we can get real world feedback from our stuff, from our products, or from whatever it is that we're putting out there. That's what's going to make the difference for us, because we may think it's perfect. After so much time putting it out there, it's our minds, and we're guessing that we think it's what everybody wants. But more times than not, if we're guessing what people want, we're not going to get it right. What we need to do is put something out there that's 80% right. We have to be comfortable with 80% of what it is we put out there, and then put it out there and see what happens. And get feedback from people saying, this is great, but I think this would be better for you, or I don't think this is so great. Let's make a change, and then take that into consideration and move along that way. Let's not miss opportunities, and let's not drain resources, because you go back over and over and over again trying to fix it. We're draining one of our main resources as entrepreneurs, or anybody for that matter, and that's time. Time is our greatest resource we have, and we're trying to get it done over and over again, waiting for it to be perfect, keep tweaking it, and we're losing time. Let's not lose that time. Let's not drain resources. Some of us are draining money resources for trying to be perfect. That's one of the worst things you could do. Time and money, right? That's what everybody always talks about. Time is money, money, time, however it goes. But let's not drain that money. Let's not drain that time and drain those resources for trying to be perfect for ourselves. And then when we finally put it out there, we're disappointed because nobody wants it, because we were guessing what people wanted it to be. So let's not do that. Something I like to talk about too when it comes to perfectionism is a mask. We hide behind perfectionism because we're not vulnerable and comfortable enough to put out what we need to put out. We don't think it's good enough. And it kind of does tie into a little bit of imposter syndrome too. We hide behind this mask of perfectionism. And I remember in one of my most favorite episodes of Undiscovered Entrepreneur was with John Lee Dumas. And John Lee Dumas said on my podcast, "You're not a perfectionist, you're a coward. You're scared to put it out there, so you keep putting it off, making this change, making that change, instead of putting it out there and just seeing what people are going to say." We get so worried about what people are going to say. We have to be vulnerable enough to put something out there that's not going to be perfect. We almost don't want it to be perfect. And here's another thing I hear a lot about too. It's not the right time. This is an excuse I hear over and over and over again about perfectionism. It's never the right time. It's never the perfect time. It's never going to be the perfect time. The perfect time is not on the calendar. There's never a circle where that X is going to be, because it's never the perfect time. So instead of waiting for the perfect time that never shows up, just do it now. Do it today. Get across the start line, like I'm always saying. And while you're sitting there busy analyzing when the right time is, the market moves on, and now it's too late. I heard another one of my podcasts. I had a guest talk about, if you don't make the effort to get across the start line, if you are given a calling, whatever you want to call it, whether it's spiritual, whatever, if you have something you're meant to do and you don't do it, and you hesitate and you try to be perfect about it, the universe is going to find somebody else to do it instead. And then you're going to miss your opportunity. I can't count how many times that I've come across a product that I saw on TV or something I saw on the street saying, I had the idea for that months ago, but somebody else did it, and now it's too late. That's why it's so important not to wait for the perfect time. Also, being perfect is kind of selfish if you really think about it too, because we're worried so much about it being perfect and not putting it out there and not being good enough. Somebody else that could be waiting for it to hear that specific message or have that specific product from you is waiting and waiting. I come across this a lot on my podcast too. And that's kind of what keeps me going is there's somebody out there that needs to hear what I have to say in my voice and the way that I say it. But if I wait for it to be perfect, if I wait to put it out there, they're never going to hear it. They're never going to have that shift. They're never going to have that change that they need to have in their life because you didn't speak up and you waited for it to be perfect and then it was too late. That's why it's so important to get out there now. Don't be selfish in that silence. Put it out there now. It's very important to be okay with B- work. I mean, there were so many people that I went to school with when I was in high school that if they got less than an A+, they just broke down. I was not an A+ student, but I was okay with that because I was still myself and I still was able to put work out there and be okay with it. But 80% is good enough. Just get it out there. B- work is okay. Don't get 100% stuck in your head because then we'll just go right in doing what we talked about, what we're doing before is just waiting. The waiting game is the worst game. We always have to remember that a plan executed now, a violent plan that executed now is better than a perfect plan executed by next week. If we put something out there right now, we'll start getting feedback from it right now. The longer you take to put it out there, the longer it's going to take for you to get the feedback that actually makes it a product that people would want to have. So don't wait. Get across the start line. Put it out there right now. So how do we actually overcome these things? We're feeling these things. We're feeling perfectionism. We're realizing that we're waiting. Eventually you will recognize it. You'll see it because you keep going back to it over and over again. Here's a couple tips for you that I found very helpful for me. First of all, put a time limit for yourself. If you're going to put something out there, maybe it's like a short or something like that, or like just a graph or something really simple, set a timer for 5 minutes and just do the thing. Do it in a way that you're focused on it. And then when the alarm goes off or whatever it is, see where you're at. And if it's viable, if it's the smallest viable product that you could actually put out, then ship it. Send it to where you need to send it. Maybe if you just want to get some ideas from family members or some trusted friends that you could send it to, say, how does this look? That way you can get feedback from it right away. Also, another way to do it is the 3-edit rule. I've talked about this once or twice too, where sometimes with the bigger projects that you need to do, some of the bigger products that you're trying to put together, don't change it more than 3 times. If you get to that 3rd time where you're changing it, after that, ship it. Put it out there. See what happens. When you are feeling perfectionism, when you know that this is happening, it's a compass. Believe it or not, it is a compass. Just like imposter syndrome, when I talked about my last episode, it means you're going the right direction and you care about it and you are so passionate about the product that you're putting out there. You want it to be perfect. And I understand it wanting to be perfect, but let's not cross that threshold from progress to perfectionism. There's a fine line between the two. Progress is when you're actually putting it out there and making something of it and getting feedback from it. Perfectionism is when you keep editing it and changing it over and over again. But if you know that you're feeling that progress, but you're kind of tipping over to the perfectionism where you're kind of editing it a few more times than you really think you should, you're going the right way. But that means we need to put it out there now. So use perfectionism as a guide and be undiscovered no more. Make sure launch your ugly babies this week. I mean, what do you think? Get across the start line now. And I have something to help you get across the start line. Just like with imposter syndrome, I have a questionnaire that I've put together just for you, my school believers out there. Go to tuepodcast.net/quiz. And this quiz, it's only 3 minutes long, 3 minutes out of your life to be able to pinpoint down which one of the hurdles is affecting you the most. If you can figure out which one of the hurdles is affecting you the most, then you know what to work on first. That's one of the hardest things, I think, is to know what you should work on first. This will give you a guide. It'll also give you some tools. It'll give you some ways to go to figure out which one of the hurdles is affecting you the worst and how to overcome them. and see how we can get you across the start line. So look in the show notes for a link to that. Hopefully somewhere along the lines here, there is a QR code somewhere on the screen here. I'm going to put that together for you. So to just pull up your camera, show your camera to the QR code, and it'll go to the link to go to my 3-minute quiz to find out which one of the hurdles is affecting you the most. Getting across the start line, whether it be perfectionism, imposter syndrome, failure, or fear, these are all tools that you can use for yourself. Don't be afraid to use these as tools. Look at them in a different way. Look at them in a different angle than you're used to. I think you'll see something a little bit different, a little bit special that you haven't seen before if you just look at them a different way. With that, I'm going to say thank you, Scuba Believers, for another awesome episode. The next episode you'll have with me is 3 of 3, where we'll go over fear and failure, 2 of the main things that stick together in this whole thing. All right, everybody. Thank you. Bye-bye. And there you have it, future entrepreneurs. We've taken a vital step on the journey across the start line. Remember, every great business begins with a single idea and the courage to pursue it. And you've already showed that courage just by being here today. As we wrap up this episode of The Undiscovered Entrepreneur Get Across the Start Line, I want you to reflect on the path. You have to recognize the 4 hurdles of stop. Is it imposter syndrome holding you back? Is it perfectionism, failure, or fear? Identifying which one affects you the most is the key to unlocking your momentum. But here's the real secret. The hurdles are not in the way, they are the way. Every time you clear one, you're building the exact strength you need for your journey ahead. Until our next episode, keep pushing, keep dreaming, and keep jumping over those hurdles. This is Scoob, your guide across the start line. Remember, your future is waiting. I can, I am, I will, and I'm doing it today. Hello, Scoob Believers. Let me ask you a real quick question. How many cups of coffee have you had today? 3, 5, 7? And let me guess, you've got a Red Bull in the other hand just in case, right? Yeah, I see you. Now, here's the truth bomb nobody wants to hear. You're not building a business. You're building a caffeine dependency. Listen, I get it. When you're grinding 12, 14, 16-hour days, you're building something from nothing. When you've got payroll to meet, investors to impress, and visions that won't wait. You need fuel. But what if I told you that the fuel that you're using is actually slowing you down? What if the very thing that you think is keeping you sharp is actually making you dull? Enter Rise Coffee. This isn't your grandma's mushroom tea. This isn't some hippie wellness trend. This is science meets performance. And here's what makes Rise different. Less than half the caffeine of a regular cup of coffee. But here's the kicker. You won't miss it. 6 organic powerhouse mushrooms, including cordyceps, what Olympic athletes use, and lion's mane, what Silicon Valley biohackers swear by. Sustained energy that doesn't spike and crash. We're talking smooth, clean power from morning to moonlight. Crystal clear focus without the jitters. Imagine closing the deal with calm, confident mind instead of the caffeine chaos. Gut health and immune support, because what's the point of building an empire if you're too sick to enjoy it? So here's the challenge to you. Stop borrowing energy from tomorrow. Stop running on fumes and call it a hustle. Stop wearing your caffeine addiction like a badge of honor. Real entrepreneurs optimize, real entrepreneurs adapt, real entrepreneurs win. You can't win if you're crashing at 2 p.m. while your competition is just getting started. Break the cycle. Head to risesuperfoods.com right now and use code PODNA15 for 50% off your first order. That's PODNA15 for 15% off. Try it for 30 days. If you don't feel the difference, if you don't feel sharper, calmer, more focused, more alive, then go back to your 6-a-day cup habit. But I'm telling you, we won't, because once you feel what real energy feels like, you'll never go back. Ditch the addiction, fuel your empire, and rise up. Rise Coffee, energy that builds, not burns.